Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute explosion of the FIFA World Cup and chronicling how it transformed from a traditional sporting event into this massive, highly globalized phenomenon. We're going to be looking specifically at the modern era, tracing the evolution from the year 2000 all the way to the monumental changes coming our way in 2026.
But before we map out that timeline, I just want you to wrap your head around this staggering number: 5 billion. An estimated 5 billion people engaged with the 2022 tournament in Qatar. It perfectly illustrates the sheer, unprecedented scale of modern football. I mean, we're talking about more than half the planet interacting with a single sporting event.
So, to understand exactly how we hit that record-breaking scale, we are going to explore 6 key areas of expansion today: the ultimate global prize, evolving the group stage, breaking borders through co-hosting, the shifting global balance, billions watching, and finally, the 48-team future. Let's get right into it.
All right, part 1, the ultimate global prize, evolving the trophy's legacy.
You know, the prestige of the actual prize has fundamentally changed over time, mostly because of the triumphs of past winners. Historically, the rule used to be that if your nation won the World Cup 3 times, you actually got to keep the original Jules Rimet trophy permanently. Brazil achieved exactly that back in 1970, so they took it home. But, tragically, it was stolen in '83 and everyone pretty much believes it was completely melted down. So, to ensure that never happens again, FIFA introduced the modern, solid 18-karat gold trophy. But here's the twist. The rules were completely rewritten so that modern champions do not get to keep it. You win the whole thing and you basically go home with a gold-plated replica. The real one stays locked up tight, which honestly just skyrockets its mythical exclusive status.
Moving on to part 2, evolving the group stage, the tiebreaker survival guide. With the ultimate prize locked down, let's step onto the pitch. The classic 32-team format creates an absolute mathematical maze. Picture this: within just a single 4-team group playing 6 total matches, you've got 729 possible final table outcomes. And out of those, over 200 combinations, 207 to be exact, actually lead to ties and points between the second and third place teams. Since only the top 2 get to advance, FIFA had to evolve a highly strict, multi-layered system so that absolutely nothing is left up to chance.
And it's basically a survival gauntlet for the teams tied on points. Step 1. Who has the greatest combined goal difference? If that's still tied, we move to Step 2. Who scored the most overall goals? Still a deadlock? Step 3 brings it down to the head-to-head records between those specific teams. And if somehow, against all odds, they are still tied, we arrive at Step 4, fair play points. This means a team's survival in the tournament could literally come down to who received fewer yellow and red cards. It's a brilliant, incredibly high-stakes system that ensures every single tackle on the pitch matters.
Which brings us to part 3, breaking borders through co-hosting, the multi-nation era.
As the rules on the pitch became more and more refined, the physical footprint of the tournament just exploded, actively shattering the long-held tradition of single-nation hosting. For most of the 20th century, the tournament just bounced back and forth between single nations in Europe and the Americas. But in 2002, the borders totally broke open, with the first-ever multi-nation tournament hosted by South Korea and Japan, which, by the way, was also the very first time it was held in Asia. Fast forward to 2026, and we are jumping to a massive 3-nation North American partnership. And looking ahead to 2030, the hosting model is expanding across entirely different continents.
All right, part 4, the shifting global balance, breaking the top 4.
Now, this geographic expansion perfectly reflects a much broader sporting goal: shifting the traditional balance of power. Historically speaking, the World Cup final has only ever been contested by teams from Europe and South America. Powerhouses like Germany, Brazil, Italy, and Argentina have kept a massive stranglehold on the top 4 spots. But the modern era is finally seeing historic breakthrough performances that are shaking up that status quo. South Korea thrilled the world by reaching 4th place as co-hosts in 2002, and in 2022, Morocco made unbelievable history as the very first African nation to reach the semifinals. For us fans, this means those incredible underdog stories are becoming way more prevalent as the global gap finally starts to close.
Moving to part 5, billions watching, the audience expansion.
And these historic global moments completely coincided with an absolute explosion in how we actually consume the event. The evolution of media totally transformed the tournament's reach. Back in 2006, the big metric was 26.2 billion in cumulative television viewership across all the matches.
By 2018, about 3.57 billion unique viewers tuned in, which is nearly half the global population. But the real modern shift happened in 2022, where engagement blew right past traditional TV screens to record a staggering 5 billion multi-platform digital interactions. We aren't just passively watching anymore. Fans are interacting, streaming, and sharing all over the globe. And just to really emphasize that growth, an estimated 1.5 billion people tuned in to watch the 2022 final match alone. Think about that for a second. Nearly a fifth of the entire human population, all totally focused on the exact same sporting event at the exact same time. It's a level of collective global attention that is simply unparalleled.
And finally, Part 6, the 48-team future. Scaling up for 2026.
So, with a proven audience of billions across every single continent, organizers sought to capitalize on this massive momentum by officially expanding the team roster. The motivation behind shifting from the traditional 32-team format up to 48 teams really involves a blend of globalization and political strategy. The core argument, championed by figures like former UEFA President Michel Platini, is that bringing in more nations, particularly from Africa and Asia, isn't just about the current quality of those teams. The idea is that giving them the crucial opportunity to actually participate is exactly what allows them to develop and improve on the world's biggest stage.
And this push brings us to the monumental 2026 format, which is scaling up to 48 finalist teams. To accommodate all of this, the tournament is going to feature a grueling 104 total matches, a massive jump from the 64 matches we saw in 2022. Teams will be divided up into 12 groups of 4, with the top teams navigating a brand new round of 32 knockout stage. Plus, it's going to be physically spread out across an entire continent, with 60 matches in the US and 10 matches each in Canada and Mexico. It is for sure the biggest World Cup ever held.
Which really leaves us with this final, fascinating thought. As the tournament scales up to unprecedented size, reaching billions of digital fans and utilizing massive multinational hosting partnerships, is it going to manage to keep its traditional exclusive prestige? Or will this bold new 48-team era completely rewrite the rules of what global mega events look like? It's going to be absolutely incredible to watch it unfold. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you on the next one.